we started this one-year master's program, MA in Education and Technology program, which brings a unique blend of education and education technology, which are very core competencies and core knowledge areas in the center together. So this is 1 year full-time program for those who would like to complete in 1 year. But many working professionals who are working full-time, we recommend that they take this program as part-time. That means you can complete it within 2 to 3 years. The delivery is flexible, it's blended, and we will talk a little bit about it. The overall aim of this program that we started last year, I think we have been working on this program for last 3 years with a lot of other academic partners nationally and internationally, and with few government partners and industry partners. We've been working on this for last 3 years. We were able to launch it last year, and we completed one batch of MA in Education Technology this year. With the partial batch will still be with the second batch because they opted for part-time option. The overall aim is, I think this is the only very unique MA in Education Technology program. Even the name suggests it's very unique in India, which basically brings a holistic perspective to education technology. It's not just looking at digital e-content, e-learning, but it brings a holistic perspective in the sense it looks at equity, sustainable perspectives, it looks at design, it looks at policy, it looks at implementation and adoption on ground. So that's how it brings a holistic perspective. Let's go to the next. I think slowly we will unpack what we mean by holistic perspective. I think this kind of a program in this, our center has a history of last 8 years in education technology, but within the TIS ecosystem also, this program fits very well because this program has a huge practice component where we allow students to basically create, design, and use whatever they are creating or designing or developing within their working lives or within the context which is practice oriented. And that also kind of fits very well with the philosophy and the ethos of Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Very importantly, it brings a lot of perspective in equity, social marginalization, working across school education and higher education, and working across classes, and very critically understanding the space of education technology globally and in Indian ecosystem. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so these are some of the collaborations that we have internationally, especially in the South, global South context also, and also a lot of geographies in India where we have field presence and research and teacher professional development present when it comes to education technology. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, these are some of the field action projects that the center has undertaken since last 8 years, 8 to 9 years. Yeah, these are some of the awards that we have gathered in the area of education technology, starting from UNESCO to the National Northeastern HCL. And I think this comes with a blend of research and field ground practice and teacher professional development, a combination of all these three. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. Yeah, let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so this is the course structure. It's 1 year, 42 credits. And those who would like to take in a part-time mode, actually, we would recommend, based on a first cohort, we would recommend those who are working full-time should actually take this course part-time. It's very difficult for learners who are already working full-time to then take a full-time master's program. I mean, this kind of a master's program. But this is the course load, whether you take full-time or part-time, this is what you have to complete. This brings education core courses, which is 12 credits, which spans to around 5 courses, which are spread. We will talk about the courses in a little while. Then it talks about the core courses. It offers core courses in education technology. Then comes an elective basket where students can select based on their choice and what they really want to concentrate. So we'll show what these electives are. We do not have a traditional thesis, but what we call a capstone research project, which basically comes towards the end of the program, but we start preparing students right from the start. So this is kind of a culmination of the courses that you have taken. And what would you like to basically culminate all your knowledge that you have gathered in the courses in something which is more practical? For example, in our last batch, the students made an education technology artifact, and then they used a design-based research to make an artifact and then see its efficacy on ground. One of the students also took a traditional route of doing a research where the student actually use two different kind of teaching pedagogies to teach computational thinking or machine learning. So these are some of the, and seminars are 2 credits where we bring a lot of global experts, a lot of industry experts, and also international experts to come and speak with the entire education technology ecosystem in the country. We call everyone. And then we allow these experts to have a close group discussion with the MA Education and Technology students. So there is a one-to-one communication with them. Yeah, please, let's go to the next slide. This is the course component. So education core courses are key ideas and concepts in education, which also brings philosophy in education, and history of education is included here. Learners and learning comes with a lot of background in developmental psychology and how children and adults learn. Some of the assignments of this education core courses also brings in aspect of education technology. For example, in learners and learning, we talked about how children learn and the processes and a lot of readings around it. But in the assignment, the students were actually doing experiments with children of 2 different age groups and do 2 different learning levels, and doing a task in education technology. So then that education technology aspect comes in. Policy in education, social marginality, inclusive education, universal design, principles, curriculum, school, and teachers, the concepts of these. Then the core education technology, basically it starts with a foundation course in teaching and learning with technology in education and 21st century skills, emerging technologies. Then we also allow students to basically pick up one of the courses which brings education technology with a subject pedagogy. So the subject pedagogy, for example, in social sciences, languages, also mathematics. Learning design with technology basically goes through all the different kind of learning design theories and learning design, instructional design kind of models and frameworks which are globally known. And it allows the students to design a product or design a curriculum. Anil teaches this course, or design an assessment around this. Product management is a very unique course that, is basically very much linked to learning design with technology. Education technology policy and the adoption. I think this kind of a course, I don't think anyone else in the country has it, which basically looks at policy in education technology globally and the adoption frameworks globally, and then it narrows down to its relevance in the Indian context and also ties with the policy in education in general. Elective courses, computational thinking, we have an industry expert who comes in to teach this course. Also, product management is taught by one of the leading industry in education technology. Mentoring for teacher professional development, technology-enabled learning. It brings a lot of community of practice and designing teacher learning support when teacher engage with your own professional development, and assistive technology, which also is taught by some of the educators who are into practice of assistive technology. These are some of the very key people in the country who actually run assistive technology in their own schools. So you will see, as the courses are very diverse and it is very holistic, it is taught by some of the key leading experts in the country in this area. So it has a blend of people coming from industry, people coming from academia, people coming from action and practice from ground. So it's kind of a wonderful blend. Some of these courses are also taught by international faculty, where we kind of club the national and the international faculty together. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So I think I have covered most of these. These are some glimpses. Like, for example, last year, we had a seminar which was concentrating on AI and the issues in AI and school education. And we had MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, basically, who was on TIS campus, and their team was on TIS campus and who delivered this seminars and talks and also workshop for teachers and students in MA in Education and Technology. We also have Open University UK, where we very closely work with digital badges and many other projects that we may not have time to speak about it, but please do follow our handles and also look at our website. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? This is the capstone project that I have explained in a lot of details. Anil, would you like to come in here?
Sure. So, yeah, so essentially capstone, unlike a typical research project, it enables you to put all of your learning, I mean, that whatever you learned in this whole program, into a practical context. So, although, one of the other things is that although our focus is more K-12, but we do cover higher education and adult learning also in our courses. Okay, so even that could, in fact, if you look at the last batch, which is just graduating, some of them have taken adult learning and higher education scenarios for the capstone project. You select a field site first, and you also look at what you want to do. So as Amina mentioned, either you could look at creating an artifact and trying it out using a design-based research approach, or it could be more research-oriented, like in our case, one of our students looked at two different kinds of pedagogies and looked at the impact of those two different kinds of pedagogies on those two groups. So it's a very practice-oriented format. And the other thing is you get to create. If you are looking at more of a design route, you have the option to create something and test it out too. So it's a very intensive, rigorous project, but it's something that is very useful, very practical, and relevant for even the industry.
Yeah. Thanks, Anil. So as we move ahead, design-based approach that I think we also touched a little bit. So these are a lot of basically open educational resources that the center has created. It has a long history of design-based research, design-based artifacts, and then conducting huge usability and learning outcome studies around it. And these resources are there that students use in their courses, or they can even pick up for their research. We also have a large field action project in Mumbai schools, municipal schools, where we are using education technology, project-based learning with technology. And so when the students are on campus, they also do a lot of these field visits in and around. And then we build deeper discussions based on these field visits. I think last year they visited one of the premier learning design company, speaking with a lot of learning designers and product managers there. They also visited project-based learning with technology field in Mumbai schools. They also visited assisted technology and special schools and the kind of technologies the schools use. So I think as we go ahead, we will keep a lot of field action exposure for the students. Yeah, can we go next? Yeah, career prospects. Anil, would you like to come in for the career prospects?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah. So we have, this is just a limited list, and you can go beyond this. So teaching and learning. So you could be working in a school space or higher education setup, and could be a consultant to the institution in terms of how education technology is to be used optimally. Product management is a specialization that you do, so you could use those skills to be a product manager at a company or in any of the development sectors, and also as a project manager or a program manager. Instructional design, also called learning design or curriculum design. These are opportunities that you have not just in education technology companies, but also in e-learning companies and also in publishing houses, right? And then, of course, there is the research aspect, which I will probably talk about a little more. And there's also the opportunity for being an entrepreneur, being a social sector entrepreneur too. That's more or less.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, you can talk about research. I think.
Yeah, I think a few of our students in this first batch really wanted, and not many came from the education background. So this course, basically this master's program, gave them a bridge to understand education and education technology both as an academic area. And that gave them more confidence to move into a PhD program. So I think a few of the students actually had those objectives, which were research-based. So besides capstone, I think one of the questions that is in the chat board. So capstone project, what we usually do is we use a workshop approach based on the interest of the students. We give some workshops on what are the different kind of doing research based on their interest. So if there are more students who are basically designing an artifact, then we spend more time on design-based research. Or if it's more kind of a little bit a traditional aspect, then we go into a traditional research methods. Then we assign a faculty guide with each of the students, and they are also allowed to choose a mentor from their field where they would like to take research. So it's a combination, or they can just have a faculty mentor. And then maybe by the third or the fourth one, they start working with this guide and then create a proposal. You can also select, so because we have about maybe 7 to 8 projects in education technology. So you can also opt to basically select one of the education technology research project or teacher professional developer field action that CET is doing. And you can work in that setting also to build your capstone project. For example, not in the MAET batch, but we have PhD students who are actually, for example, one of my PhD students in education technology is working in project-based learning with technology with municipal schools and creating a very novel, a comprehensive assessment tool in socio-emotional learning. So that is also possible. I don't think this is a very small capstone project. It will not be like a PhD program, but you can do a little bit of data collection to substantiate either a theory or create something in the field and substantiate with systematic data.